Good morning. Today is Wednesday, August 12th, 2020. I read a great story from Rabbi Tzvi Hirsch Weinreb. It's from a biography of a Rabbi Dov Cohen. So Dov Cohen was born in Seattle, Washington. And in 1926, when he was 14 years old, his mother took him across the United States, across the Atlantic and the Atlantic Ocean and the Mediterranean Sea, to Hebron in Israel to study in a yeshiva in Israel. And the story of his life is a fascinating story. I'm just going to share one brief episode. So he lived for the rest of his life in Israel, and a few times he traveled back to the United States for visits. And when he went back to visit, it was certainly kind of a culture shock. One time, he was in a taxi cab in the U.S., and he was in the back seat, and it was a Sunday morning, and the taxi driver, had the radio on. And playing on the radio was a sermon being given by a Christian minister. Very common to have Christian ministers giving sermons on the radio, on Sundays especially. And so he's sitting in the back seat, he's listening to this sermon, and this is the story that this Christian minister tells in his sermon. Story goes like this, he says. Satan had a committee of angels, and their goal was to increase the number of inhabitants of hell. You could go to heaven, you could go to hell. We want more people to sin and more people to go to hell. So what do we do to get more people to sin? So each angel comes up with a different suggestion. One angel says, listen, what we could do is, why don't we encourage more people to steal? We encourage more people to steal, they'll do sins. That's where they'll end up. The other angels say it's not going to work because there are laws against stealing. They could get caught. So many people are not going to steal. Another angel says, I have a better idea. Let's encourage people to lie. It's a terrible sin. We get more people to lie, we'll be in good shape. The others say, no, it's not going to work because, when a person lies, they feel guilty, they feel ashamed, they feel bad about it. It's not going to work. Until finally, one of the angels makes a suggestion, and everybody agrees with this suggestion. And the suggestion is as follows. We will encourage people to do good deeds. We will encourage people to do acts of loving kindness, to give charity, to pursue justice. But we will tell them, do not do those things today. Rather, do them tomorrow. And for the rest of his life, Dov never forgot that story. I'm sure you've heard the famous quote, the best time to plant a tree is 20 years ago. The second best time is now. So a hallmark of great writing is to try to remove a single word from a sentence and to see if and how that changes the meaning. So this week's parsha is the portion of Re'eh, and the portion begins with the following pasuk. Re'eh anochi nosein lifnechem bracha uklala. See, God says to the Jewish people, I set before you blessing and curse. You can choose to do what is a blessing. You can choose to do what is a curse. Okay, now, that is a fact. That's a reality of our religious lives. And that is true every single day forever. God places before every one of us the opportunity to choose what leads to blessing and the opportunity to choose what leads, God forbid, to the opposite of blessing. But when I read the pasuk, I omitted a word on purpose. The complete pasuk is as follows: Re'ei anochi nosein lifnechem hayom bracha uklala. See that I place before you today blessing and curse. Now, the word today, hayom, is very curious because, again, think about what the pasuk sounds like without the word. The pasuk does not need that word. And of course, it is not true in the sense that the choice of blessing and curse was limited to that day that God spoke near the end of the 40 years in the desert. Of course, it's true every single day. So the question is, why does the pasuk have the word hayom, today? What do we learn? What changes the meaning if we include this word, which is there, hayom, today? So here's an answer by Rabbi Eyal Vered. Rabbi Vered says, no matter what happened yesterday or the day before yesterday, you have the possibility to start anew today and to choose between bad and good. The opportunity to choose what will lead to a blessing or what will lead to its opposite, that is an opportunity that exists today, and it is not colored by, it is not influenced by what happened yesterday or what may happen tomorrow. The biggest thief of today is tomorrow. The illusion, he says, that today is like tomorrow and also like yesterday, that illusion should be shattered. Every day is a one-time occurrence. One of the first blessings, brachos, that we make in the morning when we wake up, the famous bracha, Baruch Atah Hashem, Elokeinu melech haolam, blessed are you, God, King of the universe, Asher nasan l'sech v'vina lahavchin ben yom u'ben laila, that you have given wisdom to the rooster to distinguish between day and night. Okay, we all know, it's a cliche, a rooster crows at the break of day. But where's the wisdom in that? Lahavchin l'sechvi vina lahavchin. Where's the wisdom involved in distinguishing between day and night? The wisdom is to recognize that the day is breaking, a new day is starting, a new dawn has risen, and yesterday is gone, in the sense that with this new day, I can begin again. I can choose to do what is correct, notwithstanding what I chose yesterday. That's the wisdom involved in the rooster crowing at the break of day. So recently I heard something interesting. It's a cliche. Everybody knows roosters crow at the break of day. The truth is, roosters crow all day long. Why do we associate a rooster crowing with the break of day? Because that's the only time that everything else is quiet and you can hear the rooster. We need that quiet in ourselves. We need that moment of reflection, maybe when we say this bracha in the morning or at some other time. We need that moment of reflection to allow the sound and the wisdom of the rooster's crowing to have an impact on our behavior, to remind us, yes, it's a new day. I made a bad choice yesterday. Okay, that's yesterday. I don't have to be influenced by yesterday's choice. Today I can make the right choice. Re'ei anochi nosein lifnechem hayom bracha uklala. See, God says, that I place before you today, this day anew, the path that leads to blessing and the path that leads to curse. Rabbi Weinreb concludes, see, I have given you today, this day, now and not later, to perform the good deed. And if you do it now, it will be a blessing. Hayom, bracha. If you do it now, it will be a blessing. If you put it off, you may never get to it at all. And the result may be quite different from a blessing. My friends, I want to wish you a great day, and I look forward to seeing all of you soon in person.